Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today's guest is Cody Haddon. He is a very well-known Australian MMA up-and-coming prodigy. He has fought. We've had him on the show before. He was an amateur boxing champion, Pan Pacs and Jiu-Jitsu champion as a child. And when he got into MMA, everyone has hyped this kid up since the very beginning. I say kid, he's nearly 25. And look, He's 4-1. His only loss is to Steven Erceg in what was easily the fight of the year. Steven Erceg is now a ranked UFC flyweight. So look, we're going to chat to Cody about his upcoming fight at Hex Fight Series 27, August 18th against Raja Shippen for the interim Hex Bantamweight Championship. We're going to get his thoughts on just his injuries coming up, what he thinks of Raja, his thoughts on the eternal bantamweight champion, Costa, what's going to happen there, who he wants next, of course, the official Hex champion, Gauci, and of course, Cody Haddon, although super well-mannered and really well-spoken, his fan base is, a bit rowdy. So look, we're going to get his thoughts on that. And look, it's a great episode. Do stick around. He always speaks, although well spoken and softly spoken at times. Cody Haddon always shoots straight. So that's what I love about him. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Cody Haddon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. He is taking on Raja Shippen for the interim bantamweight championship at Hex Fight Series 27, August 18th at Melbourne Pavilion. Cody Haddon, the one and only, mate. Welcome.
Great to be here, mate. Yeah.
I'm really stoked. Look, I was going to try and catch up with you in person, but I had a slight sniffle. And if I brought down the entire Hex card, I would be very disappointed.
Yeah, no, you definitely made the right decision. You know, I don't have the greatest immune system, but I wouldn't want you giving me anything, mate.
Is that like just quickly, is that a pet hate as like a trainer and a guy that fights?
Oh, yeah, man. Or even just the gym in general where you train, you know, people coming in sick, like, I always make sure, man, when I'm sick, and even if I feel better, I always take extra couple of days just because it can bounce back, man. And just because you're not having symptoms doesn't mean that you're not, you know, like contagious. So, yeah, it sucks, man. Yeah.
Well, especially because you're like 1% body fat. So your body can't fight it.
I don't know. I'm susceptible. Hey, I don't know. I've always just been one of those kids who just always seem to get sick. So, yeah, no, good that you stayed away, mate.
Well, I mean, we've always talked about the immune system now and the injuries, but hey, mate, look, we're a couple of days out. Definitely don't want to jinx it, but how's the body feeling?
Touch wood, mate. I'm all good. Touch wood. This table that we're doing this off is wood, so I'm sweet. I got both hands on it. No, we're all good, bro. Yeah, we're all good. Yeah. Can't wait, man. It's been a long time, so. I mean, I had my last fight probably October last year, I'm thinking. So, yeah, it's been nearly a year, man, on the sidelines with injuries and all this bullshit. But I guess everything happens for a reason. And, can't wait, man. It's going to be sick.
Because the Gauci fight back in February you had to pull out of. How are those injuries all long gone?
Yeah, 100%. That was an intercostal issue, and I've never had one of them before. I'm all good now. Yeah. I've been training. I think since we spoke last time, I haven't had any issues with like any pre-existing or like injuries like from the past or nothing like that. I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm quite lucky actually.
And fighting for an interim belt, I mean, I'm only going to imagine this is your first ever interim title shot. How does that? I mean, does it feel just as good as a title shot, or are you looking at more of it like it's just a fight?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, it's a hard one because, like, I mean, it's cool, like having some sort of belt, but it's like, it's not the real belt, you know. So it's a belt, but you know, it's not the real one. No, man. To be honest, I'm just looking at like focusing on my opponent in general. Yeah, I don't really care. All the other stuff is just smoke and mirrors anyway, bro, you know? So with me, it's always the opponent, title fight or not. When I'm training, I'm always ready to go 5-5s. You know, we do much more rounds of that when we spar in a row. So, five fives is like minimum. But yeah, it doesn't change too much. Like I said, when we're training in the gym, we do so many rounds anyway, like consecutively, that it honestly, yeah, for me, it's just the opponent. That's the only thing I focus on. Yeah.
Now, speaking of the guys you train with, your main training partner, Quillan Salkilld, getting the big call up in a
Yeah.
in almost an interim title shot type of way. Like he's in the
Yeah.
UFC, but
Yeah.
he's not. Like
Yeah.
what? Talk us through that.
Yeah, it was well, they kept it quiet for a little bit. We were sparring, and at the start of sparring a couple of weeks ago or whatever, or whenever it got announced, I can't remember. But anyway, Ramel was like, "Oh, you're right. Cody and Kane are going to get priority of the rounds. So everyone else just bear with me because our gym's small. A couple of people will have to sit on the sidelines whilst the guys who've got fights coming up, they're going to be like getting priority of rounds." But then he goes, "Oh, Cody Kane and Quillan might have something locked in." So I was just like, "Oh," and then after sparring, I was like, "Oh, you got something locked in?" He said, "Yeah, potentially." I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't think anything of it. And then about 2 days later, Jazz came to my house and she was like she called me. She's like, "Hey, I need to come see you now." And I was like, "Shit, like what's going on?" And then she just said, "Oh, I have to tell you guys this right now." And then she just said, "Oh, Cool's gonna fight on road to UFC." And I was like, "Man, that's sick. I think he deserves it, man. Like, fuck, he's on the level, like." Yeah, I was so happy for him, and it just goes to show like the talent coming out of WA in general and the talent coming out of Origin. So yeah, super happy for him, and he actually wants to defend his belt still in October, I've heard. So
Yeah.
it's like they've said, it's a side mission, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, bro, I think he'll go over and he'll blitz the guy he's fighting. I know the guy's good, but I just don't think he's Quillen's caliber. And then I think maybe Contender Series or maybe something like that. But yeah, who knows, man.
I mean, you've been right about him before. When everyone was unsure about the Blake Donnelly fight for the Eternal MMA Lightweight Championship, you were the one going, "I think he's going to blitz him." And never have you been so right.
Yeah, yeah, man. It was funny, actually. I was sitting in the crowd and like watching that fight, and all my friends around me, and they were saying, "Oh, how do you think Colin's going to go against this guy? How do you think?" I'm like, "Man, it doesn't fucking matter who it is. Like, he's going to win. Like, I have no doubt because I'm so confident because I train with him. He's probably my main sparring partner is him,
Yeah.
So I know what he's capable of, man. I see how hard he works and, to only be doing MMA for 5 years and getting better all the time. It's just, he cannot fail is what I'm trying to say. No matter who's put in front of him, I think he's up there with all those guys in the UFC now. And I think he beat like a large majority of them. So yeah, it's just a matter of time for him, really.
Let me ask you a very, I want you to be as honest as you can. Are you a little jealous? Not in like a bad way, but in like you've been the prodigy for so long. You obviously fought a very close fight with Steve Erceg. Erceg is now in the UFC doing wonders. Quillen's your main training partner. He's the champ in the UFC, but you've been the golden boy for 10 years, ever since you were a kid.
Yeah, no, not really, man. Like, I know that in this sport, everyone's on a different journey. I know that I'm going to get there regardless. That's my destiny too. If anything, it makes me feel better about myself training with him because I'm like, wow, this guy, like, he's like, with the even training with Steve, I'm like, oh, wow, like this guy, he's in the UFC. This was when he wasn't, but same thing. Like, he gets there, I'm like, man, I'm getting to spar with this guy. And then to be able to see him win against these guys who're supposedly really good, and it's like I'm sparring with him all the time. If anything, it just lifts me up, man. Yeah, jealousy, like, not really, man, to be honest. Like, I'm really happy for him, and I just think he deserves it. And I understand that everyone, like in life, is on different paths and different journeys, and some things take longer than others, But yeah, I know that my time will come regardless, and yeah, I'm just so happy for him, man. To be honest, so happy for him.
Now, is it, are you chomping at the bit to get to the UFC, or is these kind of like last couple of injuries and whatnot? Is it just like literally one fight at a time? You're just trying to make it to a fight each time?
yeah, to be honest, bro, this camp's been very long, like very, very long. And I was actually worried because I couldn't really get a fight. And then Hex came through and said, oh, I've got a fight in 8 weeks or 9 weeks, whenever it was. And I was like, fuck, I've been training already hard for like 6. You know, I was helping Quillan for his fight.
Yeah.
So that's how long ago it was. And I'm like, man, I'm a bit worried because I don't know if the body will hold up that long, you know. As well, like when I'm in the gym, I go hard all the time. I'm not one of those guys who like, oh, I'll kind of go slow today. You know, I went hard yesterday. Like, I just like to go hard all the time. If I can't go hard, I kind of don't want to do it, you know, like, but as well, it's, I guess, like, it is a lot of pressure on my body because a lot of the guys are bigger than me. So that does, put a lot of, like pressure on my body, being one of the smaller guys in the gym. But, yeah, I feel like, yeah, just one fight at a time, to be honest, man. I'm not looking too far ahead. I try to just look at one fight at a time. And you have to, because you have to always respect all my opponents, you know, regardless of what it says on paper, this and that. I always respect everyone, you know. So I know, especially in those 4-ounce gloves, man, you get hit once, it's over. You know, you honestly don't know what's gonna happen. You have to respect everyone. So one fight at a time. And yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys like, you know, before me getting to the UFC, there's definitely a couple guys who I need to fight, you know, people like Sean Gauci, all these guys, like I definitely need to fight and beat these guys. I feel like even Raja, obviously. I feel like once I do that, then I'm a bit like, you know, undeniable.
Is there anything about Raja Shippen's game that concerns you at all?
Yeah, I mean, he's good with the elbows, man. You know, you've seen what he's done. He's knocked out a lot of guys. He's had a lot of experience. He throws high kicks. He's a dangerous guy. He can hit you when you're not expecting it. You know, he's very tricky, very flash, like, but very doesn't load up with stuff, but just pulls it off at the right time. He's very crafty. So, yeah, definitely, man. Everyone, like, you know, everyone brings a threat, and yeah, he is definitely a threat. You know, yeah, it's a real risky like fight in general. I have to be super cautious. But yeah, I believe in my ability. I believe that, you know, now's my time. You know, I'm hitting 25 years old. I'm not even at the peak yet, but I feel like this is the start of the beginning of that. And I just feel like I would say I'm more well-rounded. Like, and no disrespect to my opponent or nothing, but I mean, I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe that, you know. So I think that, yeah, wherever the fight goes, I'll have an answer.
And how do you think this fight is going to go?
It's hard to say, man. I don't really like predict, you know, because like it's funny because when I was fighting Steve, in my mind I was like, oh, if I land with the hands, it'll be too much for them. But then like that wasn't working, and then I was kind of like, fuck, now he's wrestling me. What the fuck, you know? So, but I just, man, to be honest, just no game plan, no. I don't see a specific way I can win. I just feel like there will be opportunities in the fight that will arise, and I'll be able to take them. That's for sure. Yeah,
it's fun.
I don't think it'll go the distance. To be honest, I don't think it will go the distance. Yeah, I think that I'll be able to capitalize on something. What that is, I couldn't tell you, and you'll have to just watch. But yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I was chatting to Raja Shippen when I was doing a couple of interviews at Absolute MMA in Melbourne last time, and I threw your name up because he was talking about, he's like, no one wants to fight me. And I was like, Cody Haddon's looking for a fight. And it was literally like, and what he said about you, he spoke really highly about you. Yeah. So I think it's really nice to see two guys who, there's no real trash talk. You could, I mean, you can trash talk if you want, and Raja does as well. But it's like the way that you guys are just sort of like, yep, no one else wants to fight us. Let's fight each other.
Well, that's it, man. I've always struggled. And yeah, I've heard he's been looking for a fight for a long time, and no one will fight him as well. And, you know, like you say, being a prodigy and stuff like that, I mean, it's a good thing to start training at a young age, but also, you know, I'm 4-1, and no one will really fight me in Australia. So I'm kind of like, fuck, you know, would it have been better, you know, to be like, to not have, you know, like someone like Quillan not have trained as long, but people think, oh, I can take him, you know, people would take the fight with him. But even now he's going to struggle to get fights. So it is good to have I heard he couldn't get a fight, and then when they offered me the fight, I was like, yeah, I can't get a fight, you know. So,
No.
of course, I want to fight him. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
I just
because
need to be active, man. You know, like I've sat on the sidelines for too long. It doesn't
yeah,
matter who it is. It's just I'm just like with me, and you've even said it before, Mitch. Is like the biggest thing for me is just getting to the fight.
yeah,
Just get me there. If I'm there, I'm all good. You know,
yeah,
things will happen. It's just getting there, man. So one is like the injuries. Two, opponents. No one really wanted to fight me. People turned me down. So I'm just glad that me and Raja could make this happen. And I fought Steve on my third pro fight or whatever it was. You know, after he'd been on a tear. So I've never, people can say what they want. You chose opponents and all this and that, but it's like, hey, I just say yes. That's it. Whatever comes to me, I just say yes. So yeah.
Yeah. No, it's true. And even the talking about staying active, even the Steve Erceg loss did more for you than not fighting for a year because everyone got to see the level you were at.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and especially with it's really reassuring, like seeing him in the UFC do so well. And I'm like, man, we had a good fight. I probably gave that guy like a better fight than this guy. This guy's ranked 10 in the country or whatever, or in the organization, whatever it is. So it is very reassuring. And that's the same way I feel about, Quillan getting the call up for. I feel like he's on that journey too. And then to be able to train with him as well and be like, man, I'm holding my own with him, like far out, So yeah, it's definitely exciting times ahead. But I can't look too far because I'm very like dialed in on what's coming. Yeah.
But the most important thing, I mean, your fight's pretty important, but I have heard rumors that in Melbourne, the great Tyrone Haddon will be there.
He will be there, actually. And I think you should do a well overdue interview with him, definitely, out the front so that he can have a cigarette in his hand.
I will do that. I will do that.
No, you have to do it, bro. You have to, yeah. It's been a long time coming,
Well, mate, as long as you do your thing, if you win post-fight, like I've heard rumors that you might do, as long as you do that, I will do an interview with Tyrone Haddon, the most vocal man in any Cody Haddon post.
Hey, that's why I don't talk shit, because I got people doing it for me, mate.
Yeah, is it going to be different not having the wild ruckus of the Haddon crew in the stadium?
Well, one of my brothers is coming, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think that's happening. They could even both be coming. I'm not sure at this point. So, I mean, yeah, there'll be a bit of noise for me, but yeah.
I was are they still banned from HPF Stadium? Or are they?
Oh, probably. Lucky I'm fighting on Hex, hey?
Well,
to be honest, man, like, I don't really pay attention to that stuff anyway. I mean, it's cool and that, you have people cheering for you, but man, when you're in there, you're like this, you're not, like you can hear little things here and there, but you're just like that. So you're not really I'm not affected with whether they're there or not, or people are booing me. Like regardless, it's like people can chant and cheer, but it's like they can't win for you, So when you're there, it's always just you and the opponent, man. That's the only thing that is that matters at that time. But.
And hypothetically, let's say you win, is Sean Gauci in November the one you want?
Yeah, well, like once again, I don't know what Sean's moves are. To be honest, like I don't really care who it is. I'm just trying to stay active. Like whatever they want to do, whoever they come up with, that's all good. I feel like I just need to string fights together. If he's ready to go, awesome. I feel like that's going to be a great fight once again. What he's done, he's been on a tear as well. And yeah, that fight makes sense, right? To try to get the official belt. But yeah, just whoever can say yes first, really. I'm not really bothered.
What about, I just want to ask your opinion on what you would rather. Sean in November, let's say you win, Sean in November for the official Hex belt, or Rod in Perth for the Eternal belt?
No, it's a good one. I mean, yeah. The tempting thing about that is October is closer. And at this point, like I know that short camps probably benefit me a bit better because over time I end up getting a bit fucked up. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say that yeah, Rob would be better, but the truth is I could only do one because October, turnaround November, like that's very close. I don't know what the dates are. What's the date for the October Eternal card? What is that?
I don't know. They don't let me go anymore.
But yeah, I mean that fight's a very big fight, and yeah, he's got the belt. I want the belt, so I want to fight him. Yeah, so we'll see what happens, really. But yeah, whoever comes through first, I guess, man.
Awesome, mate. Well, thanks for taking the time. I'm going to jump off and chat to your teammate, Kane Rickus, who's having his pro debut. Do you have any words of wisdom for him?
Nah, man. Like he's had so much amateur experience, man. And he's at that age where like so much amateur experience. What else is he gonna do down there? The amateurs. I think it's perfect for him, and he's got power. So being in them small gloves is gonna help him even more. I can't wait to see his pro debut, man, because he hits hard, and those little gloves. Hey, you only need to tap someone, and I think it works in his favor a lot better than the amateurs in general.
Yeah, I think he could do the old Jack Hayes way, which was fighting out of M16, where I think he was like 0-5 in the amateurs, and then just turned pro and ended up going like 2-0 or something as a pro.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's like I think of it like MMA amateurs, 3 minutes. It's not very long, man. You do a jiu-jitsu competition, you're fighting for like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, right? Especially with the grappling involved. 3 minutes, you don't really get enough time to establish position. I feel like 5 is super necessary for MMA. Even when we spar in the gym, the amateurs do 5. Everyone does 5 minutes. We don't, like we very rarely do. We might warm up with a 3-minute round, but it's 5 minutes minimum. So I think it suits him very well, and I'm super excited for him.
Awesome. All right, Cody Haddon, who's taking on Raja Shippen August 18th, Melbourne Pavilion for the interim bantamweight championship at Hex Fight Series 27. Mate, thank you so much. I'll see you in Melbourne.
Thank you, mate. I'll see you there. Thank you.